Hi, it's Logan Wells back in the kitchen. The garden has been full of all kinds of good things to eat. And one thing you can always rely on is if you're not growing your own zucchini, your neighbor will have plenty and they'll usually throw some your way. Or you have too much for yourself to be able to eat, fried, and there's multiple ways to make it, stuffed with ground meat and some sauce and some mozzarella cheese and so forth. But today we're making the world's best zucchini bread. Love this recipe. With or without nuts, it can be made, so that's up to your preference. I'm gonna make it with nuts today. All right, so first thing you're gonna do is put 3 eggs in a large mixing bowl. I love this recipe because it's pretty simple and easy. Even a bachelor could make this. So you take your 3 eggs, give it a little whipping there, and then you need 2 cups of sugar. Get my handy dandy leveler here. There we go. 1, 2, and 1 cup of vegetable oil. There you go. Give that a good mix. This is where I would add these spices. So 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon salt, there you go, 2 teaspoons cinnamon, and then we're going to add our vanilla after we've mixed in the dry ingredients. That looks like caramel. All right, then we need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. 1, 2. Okay, so we'll give that a little whip, and then we're going to get our zucchini grated. Now you can hand grate the zucchini if you want, but I find the easiest way is to use one of these little food processors. It's got a really sharp blade in there. So first off, I washed the zucchini. I'm just gonna cut off the ends. Let me move that bowl so you can see a little bit of my sugar. And then I cut those into quarters. Just makes it a little easier. Refining it greatly. And the thing is with zucchini bread, it doesn't have to be large grated pieces. It could be small. You could even puree it if you wanted to. It will still all taste the same, but if you get it to a small grated kind of texture, your bread will have a little bit more of a texture to it than just being real soft. All right, so we quartered those. And I'm just going to cut those into some chunks, about 1 inch wide. And I'm going to put those into here because we're going to need 2 cups of grated zucchini. So I put my zucchini into this food processor. It's kind of a mini one you would have. Put the top on, put that in there, and just kind of lightly pulse it. Sometimes you gotta shake it a little bit so that the bigger chunks will fall down into where the blades are. But that's a lot quicker and easier than hand grating it with the grater. I'll kind of show you what this looks like. kind of a rough grade. So we're going to take 2 cups of this and put it into the batter. That one wasn't quite full. I'm going to do this instead. All right. Give that a little mix. And last but not least, 2 cups of flour. I'm going to use this one. I love this zucchini bread because it's so moist from the zucchini. It's melt in your mouth, especially if you get a little layer of butter on it. So you want to mix that for about a minute just to make sure that all your ingredients are well blended. And then this makes 2 loaves. And I have these really nice, I guess, what would you call this? It's a bakeware, kind of a ceramic, a stoneware. And it makes just a real nice sized loaf, so it'll be a little bit thicker, like a slice of bread would be from the store. I also have some flatter ones that are a little bigger. This is 9 by 13, but I find that the loaves come out flatter with these, and I kind of like the thicker, smaller loaves, so we're gonna go with those. Fill one of these about halfway. Where's my other one? This one halfway. And then we're gonna get to scrape all that good stuff from out there. Where's my spatula? Then we're gonna put these into a preheated 325-degree oven. And they bake for an hour. And it fills your house with the most yummy, cinnamony smell. Until a toothpick comes out clean, and then you'll take them out, let them cool for about a half an hour, and then pop them out of the pans here and let them completely cool on a rack. All right, so we're gonna put these in. And I'll see you at the end. So I gotta tell you, this zucchini recipe is a favorite of our families. And anybody that I've ever made this for and given as a gift, which they are really good to give for gifts, they just love it. It's really moist, and I love spreading butter on mine. It tastes like, oh, it's like heaven. But very easy recipe. Even teenagers or young chefs, beginning cooks can make this very simply. And these are freezable. And I've never had it come out of the freezer and not be good. It's very easy to freeze. I just usually wrap them in either tin foil real tightly or saran wrap, and then put them in a freezer bag and make sure that it seals really well. And they've kept for a little over a year. Never usually lasts that long though, but when you have all that extra zucchini from the garden or your neighbor's garden, you can make a lot of loaves and give them as Christmas presents, birthday gifts, anniversary, or just welcoming a new neighbor. They're really delicious. So let me know if you've tried this recipe and how you like it. I'm gonna make the next batch, and I'm gonna actually add my nuts, which again, I'm using one of these handy dandy little food processors. And instead of having to put it, we always had one of those hand choppers when I was growing up. Your palm would get really tired and hurt. So it takes 1 cup of walnuts. That's about that. And you basically put this on top of there. And I'll tell you, those blades inside these are really, really sharp. You gotta be careful when you're washing them that you don't get your hands near them because it will slice you open. And I just put this on here. Voila, done. Perfectly grated nuts. If you want them finer, you can run it a little bit more, but I like to have them somewhat fine. So I'm gonna add this to my next batch that will be going into the oven, and I'll see you at the end when you see the finished product. So here they are, all yummy and delicious. So we got 2 loaves out of that recipe, and I've got another 2 loaves in there that I put some nuts in. So I have ones without nuts, and those are gonna have walnuts in them. So after these have completely cooled, you can take a freezer bag, and I can fit 2 of these inside a large freezer bag. And then you can label them. Now these I know I'm going to thaw out pretty quickly for some family members that I'm gonna give them to. But if I know they're gonna be in there for a longer time, I would wrap these in saran wrap and then tin foil once, and then put them into here, just to keep them extra sealed so they don't get freezer burn. All right, now we'll have something to enjoy over the winter months, have a little taste of summer. I forgot to mention, I think, about the size zucchini that I noticed. The large zucchinis seem to have a lot more water content to them. So when I added that to my mixture of the eggs and oil, etc., it seemed like it was a little bit more runny than the usual texture of the batter. So just add a little more flour to it until you get a medium kind of batter. You don't want it runny, you don't want it too thick. It should be the consistency of, regular cake batter. So just a little something to keep in mind. The smaller zucchinis actually are a little drier, and you won't have any problem with the extra water in your recipe. All right, enjoy, good eats. See you again soon. Okay, so we're going to cut a piece of this zucchini bread. And oh gosh, I can already tell. Look at it, just looks so very moist and tender. Now you can eat this plain, but I like it with just a little bit of butter. Just a little bit, you don't need much, but it just adds that little bit of extra creaminess. So cut that in half. All right, here we go. It's so moist. Maybe like my grandson. Happy dance, happy dance, happy dance. So delicious. You can make zucchini cupcakes. You could make, what else did I say? Zucchini cake. You could put this in a cake pan and just put a very little bit of a light icing. Honestly, it's just good all by itself. It's just so moist and delicious, and it's very healthy for you. And this had no nuts, but I love the zucchini bread with the nuts because it just adds another dimension of flavor to it. If you are not allergic to nuts, I highly recommend doing that with the walnuts or pecans. But let me know what you think of this recipe. It's absolutely delicious. Use the fruits of your garden. I've got 3 more zucchinis out there. It's the end of September and I've still got 3 zucchini out there. So I'm gonna make some more that I can freeze and use as holiday gifts. And always a good thing to bring out when you've got some company over and you need a little side dish accompaniment to your dinner. I hope to see you again soon. God bless everybody. Thanks.